Hey, this is Dave Pryor. Welcome to the Agile 2024 pre-event podcast series. Today we're going to talk about Agile Essentials. You can see that these people are very excited about it. So Cheryl Hammond and Omar McNeil, thank you for being here. I want to talk about Agile Essentials, but before we do, would you mind introducing yourselves to the folks? And Cheryl, maybe you can go first. Just a quick introduction to who you are.
Hi, Dave. I'm Cheryl Hammond. I've been involved with the Agile Conference Community since 2014. I've been chair of various tracks, and this year I'm really excited to be returning as the chair of the Agile Essentials Track.
All right, thank you. And Omar?
Hello, Omar McNeil here. I work with Cheryl as the reviewer for the Essentials Track at Agile 2024. I spoke last year for the first time at Agile, but prior to that, I volunteered at multiple conferences, Agile DC, DevOps DC. I'm speaking at the Hampton Dev Fest in May next month, so excited about that. So I've kind of been around the conferencing for a good while, but excited to be working with Cheryl on this one.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you both for all the work that you do. And I want to talk about what Agile Essentials is. So for people that are coming for the first time, I mean, the title makes it almost self-explanatory, but I know that your approach to this is different. So what is the Agile Essentials Track all about?
So thanks, Dave. This is the second year of, so we've had an Agile Foundations, Agile Fundamentals. We've had something like that at the conference for many years. Last year, we undertook an experiment where we did two things differently. One was that we curated what sessions we wanted to see and what topics we wanted to have covered. So the conference chair and I worked together before the conference, before we even opened to proposals, to say, what do we think Agile Essential topics actually are? And armed with our list of those essential topics, we then went out and handpicked and invited speakers to cover each of the topics. So we now have this track that's been crafted very intentionally to give attendees an experience if they're coming in with any spots where they'd like to brush up on their Agile skills. And we do actually have more than half. Last year was actually 70% of the attendees of the conference are coming to an Agile conference like ours for the first time. So we wanted this to be a place where if they are new to Agile or new to their role in Agile, that they can go and get the basics. What are the critical things that they need to know?
Okay.
And to yes and Cheryl, I spoke on the Agile Essentials track last year, and it's funny because we had a conversation when I first started. My session was on planning, and when I initially did it, I was going deep into the weeds, and I had to pull myself back and say, "Hey, this is basic. This is 101. This is for folks who are brand new. So if you are brand new, or if you're an old dog, as they say, you want to brush up, come on down."
Well, that's one of the things that I wanted to hit on, because even though this seems like it might be Agile basics, what I notice in the clients I work with is that the amount of misunderstanding of what this stuff is, the basic, like how to tie your shoes stuff that they're still getting wrong. I'm just like, how do you not know that you don't do that this way? Like, you don't just extend the sprint and, carry work over and all that stuff. It's staggering, the amount of misinformation. So I would encourage anybody to attend these tracks, because even though it's back to the roots, basically.
I think it's really we're trying to clear away all of that where people take for granted that we all understand what everybody's talking about, or that we all remember what the Scrum Guide says, or we all remember what the 12 principles of Agile software development that hide behind the manifesto, what those are. This is our opportunity to really pull those back up into the forefront and say, let's get aligned on the underlying stuff that is needed to make all of this Agile work. And then we can go deeper, and then we can go get creative. But we've got to keep plugging away at the stuff that is, core to the Agile experience.
Yeah. Okay. And I know that the speakers, you didn't go out and get a bunch of like seasoned pros that are rolling out their talk about how to do pair programming for the 500th time. you brought in new people, right?
Yes.
Yes, we did. So Omar's a great sort of poster child for what we're trying to accomplish with the Essentials Track, because he, as he mentioned, was a speaker for us last year, one of my favorites, but they're all my favorites, Omar. But what we did was we took this as an opportunity to reach out to communities that haven't participated in our Agile conference previously. So every single speaker on the Agile Essentials Track this year is someone who has never spoken at this Agile Alliance conference before. Some of them are very experienced speakers from other conference ecosystems. Right. We've got a couple of speakers covering technical topics who are very seasoned in what they do. And then we also have people who are speaking at a conference of our size for the first time. What I'm particularly excited about is we have Sally Gasser, who is an alumna of the Launching New Voices program sponsored by Women in Agile, which was the whole purpose of that program, which I've been a mentor for, is to give speakers a springboard into a speaking career. And so we wanted to seize on the great work that she did last year and say, we think you're ready for the big time. And we're very excited to have her. She's putting together a really compelling talk on product, which is her area of expertise.
Cool. So this track it's like full of ringers. I mean, it's topics you picked, speakers you know are going to be good. So if people aren't sure and they want to hit a good session, I always say to people, like, you should pick it by the speaker. But these people are like hand chosen, so you know they're going to show up and do the thing.
Yes. If you think Omar and I have good taste in speakers, then this is your place.
Yep.
All right, cool.
And to add on to that, for example, we have a session on human-centered design. Darcy Fitzpatrick is awesome. I learned human-centered design from her a couple of years ago, and being able to sprinkle that into your Agile tool belt makes a big difference.
Excellent. Okay. So how would, if I was just somebody working at a company, how would you recommend that I approach explaining to whoever I work for, who's going to sign off on whether I get to attend? Like, what is the value prop for somebody coming to this conference?
There are so many new ideas and techniques and thoughts that you don't even think about, because most people that go out, they'll get certifications, from if they get their Scrum Master or Product Owner, it's like, oh, okay, I'm good, I'm ready to go. But you get different flavors and different ideas from folks from all around the world and different experiences. One of my favorite things at these conferences is talking to other people at the conference and just networking and learning. For example, last year there was a session on building a dojo that was by I believe it was Dion Stewart and Joel Tossi, and I didn't even know about this, and I brought this back to my company to talk about it with the other learning folks, and this is something that we're experimenting with now and trying. I never even would have saw this if I didn't go to the conference last year.
Something I'm excited about is in the last couple of years, we've really made an effort with this conference to create a whole learning journey across the entire week. So we have everything from learning level sessions to very deep dives. We also have tremendous opportunity for personalization at the conference. There's, at any given time, there's 15 to 20 sessions going on. So you have that paralysis of choice almost of what sessions you would like to go to. We also have a number of different options throughout the week for meeting one-on-one with a coach for free conversation, or attending open space sessions or lightning talks that are self-designed, or even trying out your own speaking, participating in the open jam. There's just tons of stuff for people to do, where if you have a very specific question about how to apply Agile at your job, you could try to find the perfect session to get those answers from, and you're likely to find several, but you can also go in deeper with very experienced practitioners and just get super specific about how to apply it to your problem.
Excellent. Okay. And they can also hit the coaches clinic too.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Or Agile advice. I can't remember what we're supposed to call it. Now I know you're going to have, on the coaching tip, you're going to have sessions on facilitation and coaching. So for all the folks who've taken a 2-day class with me or any of the other trainers out there and then decide they're a coach, there's a little more to it than just a 2-day class, right?
And the 2 sessions we have for facilitation, we have Maria Check, and then for coaching, we have Matt Takani, who I've worked with before, and he is an awesome facilitator and he's an awesome coach. So make sure you check out his session as well.
Awesome. All right.
And we're doing this year, for the first time, we've asked some of these newer speakers to actually facilitate these sessions in the form of an interactive workshop. We thought it
Wow.
would be pretty ironic to have a speaker get up and talk about how important facilitation is and do that as a talk. So we said, could we please teach them by showing them,
Yeah, yeah.
teach them by doing. And we thought those were both opportunities to help attendees really get hands-on with facilitation skills and with coaching skills. Now,
Awesome.
all the other sessions are likely to have little elements of interactivity as well, but facilitation and coaching in particular are going to be deep diving into workshop style from the get-go, and
Cool.
should be a really engaging way for people to learn.
That's excellent. And I also want to offer one other tip just because of what you were just saying. A lot of times at conferences like this, I will go just to watch the craft of somebody facilitating or presenting.
Yes.
Because what they're saying is cool, but sometimes the show itself is where you learn the most.
Yes,
Yeah.
one of my favorite facilitators, I'll plug him, is Chris Lee. He is so energetic, and he's
Like, he
amazing.
needs more
I
on
know.
the ego side.
But he's awesome with his facilitation. I love attending his sessions.
Yeah, Chris has got a lot of energy.
I'll put in another plug for Maria because she's the one leading the facilitation workshop. I actually met her at the Agile Tour Vilnius conference in Lithuania. And when I came home and we started talking about, I want to do a workshop on facilitation that is facilitated. Who could we find that could possibly do such a thing? And I thought of her because she had led this killer workshop in Vilnius. And we're very excited to have her over because she hasn't been part of our conference on this side of the pond since then. She's actually based in Barcelona, I think it is.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the Lithuania conference attracts a lot of folks from all over Europe and has allowed me to meet new folks, which was exciting. But she is someone who I saw her deliver something really great in Vilnius, and so I'm looking forward to seeing her apply that to ours.
Cool. And that's another thing at this conference for the people that are watching this is that they've really extended themselves this year and last year in terms of bringing in folks who haven't come in a while or haven't been before, not just the attendees, but the speakers and the topics are really trying to broaden it for everybody. What is your favorite part of the week? I mean, you've both been to this before. It's a long week. It's a wonderful week, but it can wear you out. What's the part that you're most looking forward to?
Networking. Absolutely networking.
Okay.
It's funny because at lunch or I think dinner, I made it a point to sit at just the most random tables and meet new Agilists from all over the world, and having great conversation, make context, learn about people. That was my favorite part of just networking with new Agilists, old Agilists, everybody in between. That was the best part, in my opinion.
Yep.
Okay.
I think my favorite part is access. I think my favorite part about any conference, but especially this one, is how down to earth and approachable all the speakers are, including big name keynotes that we get in or authors who published multiple books. And I can recall over the years that if I had a challenge in my job and I happened to catch, Lisa Adkins walking down the hallway and asked her about it, she would not hesitate to drop everything and chat with me about, her suggestion for my issue. That's true of so many of the speakers in the community. And so getting a chance to really have those follow-up conversations, like Omar said, I'm really good at stalking a speaker into the lunchroom and finding the table that they're at and then just having a casual chat, right? And really trying to go beyond whatever they may have presented or ask them a question that I didn't ask in front of everybody in the room. So the fact that we have these great minds brought together and that they're from all over the world. And this year we have the satellite conference in Manchester happening at the same time, which really creates a metaphorical, very, very long bridge, right, from Dallas to England, where the communities in Europe that have very different experiences are able to cross-pollinate with us. Now, granted, we're not going to run into each other at the coffee table, but there's great opportunities for us to connect with folks from these different communities. I get so much out of that.
Cool. And to yes and Cheryl on that one, it's also this last year's conference was the first conference I attended since COVID, and then everything cleared out. So you get to meet people in person that you've seen on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or whatever social media platform, and actually put the face to the name and say hello to them. And it's just great doing that.
It's really cool to be able to do that. Yeah. And so if you're there and you see somebody and you're like, ooh, just go up and say hi.
Yep.
Right. Don't be shy. Okay. This week is long. And I think the first couple years that I attended it really took me a while to get the hang of it. So I'm wondering if you have advice you can offer people who are coming maybe the first or maybe the second time. What are things each of you do to help kind of keep it together during the week to maintain your health and your sanity when there's so much? I mean, it's like constant. There's so many things going on. How do you handle it?
I would, Cheryl, if I may go first, and actually correct me here if I'm wrong. It's the law of 2 feet, I believe, where yes, it's the law of 2 feet. If you're at a session and the first couple of minutes you're listening, you're not getting something out of it, or there's another session you want to jump into, it's okay. You can quietly get up and go to the other session. Or if you're feeling overwhelmed, there's couches, there's different areas. You can leave, sit down, if you take a call or anything like that, but you can use your 2 feet, walk out, sit down, and just clear your mind, and then go back to another session.
Okay.
Yes, we try to make sure we've actually talked to all the speakers on our track about actively encouraging people to use that mobility to go to other sessions. It's, again, 14 to 20 sessions are going on at any given time, which means that if the one you're in is not exactly where you want to be, don't be shy about it. Again, be polite and quiet about it, but don't be shy at all about sliding out the back of the room and going and finding another one that you want to check out. Lots of people do that. It's a very cultural practice for us. The law of 2 feet that Omar quoted comes to us from open space and is something that we culturally value, not wasting each other's time. I think I would echo what he said about taking breaks. The Agile Alliance Lounge for Agile Alliance members has couches and snacks and stuff to do. There's usually game rooms and other sort of entertainment. If you're coming because your employers asked you to come and learn things, sometimes you might feel pressure to go to every single session. And you've got to remember to pace yourself and think about how your brain is going to learn best. Because sometimes, honestly, taking a 75-minute time block to go work on a jigsaw puzzle is really going to help you cement those learnings. And if you plan on going and writing back to work about what you learned, they don't need to know that you took an afternoon to take a little break.
They're not watching you?
Swim in the pool, right? Or chances are, if you go to the pool, you are going to find dozens of very experienced Agilists in the pool, nerding out about what we do, and you're going to learn something from that conversation that is equally compelling and useful to your boss. You don't need to tell them that you were submerged in water while that happened. You just tell them what you learned. But don't feel afraid at all about taking those breaks and making sure that you're doing what your brain needs to make those learnings stick. Because if you wear yourselves out, you're going to get to that. I've done it, right? You get to Thursday and you try to go into a session and you're just not. You're just not processing any of it. So it is well worth it to kind of pace yourself and do a variety of things, a mix of some sessions, a mix of some networking, some hanging out, some resting, some writing, whatever else you need to do to really have a good experience. But the FOMO is real at this conference. It's huge. And so you're always feeling like if I go do this thing, I'm going to be missing out on 20 other things. And sadly, that is true, but you've got to just embrace it. You got to just pick the path.
You're going to miss something. There's no way you're not going to miss something.
Yeah.
And then to add on to that, what I did last year for the first time at any conference is I actually brought my iPad with me, and I was taking notes with it and taking pictures with it and just inputting them there. So if you're one of those people like me who you have to write things down or you will forget, I took tons of pictures. I have it all in my Apple Notes. I was actually going back to it, looking at them the last couple of weeks just to pull some data back. So use your technology. I would say probably about 80 to 95%, probably 95% of the speakers have their slides online that you'll be able to grab them. So like at first, the first day, I'm like, every slide, picture. And I was like, wait, this is going to be online. Let me just capture the important stuff, add my note to it, and then float. By the second day, my process was a lot better.
Awesome.
So here's what I'm going to try to do this year that I forgot to do last year, which is take selfies with the people that you meet, because you're going to meet hundreds of people and keeping track of all the names is so hard. Take a selfie, see if you can angle it so their name tag is in there so that when you connect with them on LinkedIn a couple days later, you will remember why you did that.
That's a really good idea. I met a bunch of people last year and wrote notes about them, but then couldn't remember who they were. It's too many.
I realized towards the end of the conference how many people had been smartly taking selfies with me. And instead of just thinking, oh, that's kind of an ego thing, I'm like, wait a minute. Those people are much more clever than I anticipate. So than I gave them credit for. And I thought that I should have been doing that. So this year I'm going to try to do it from the very beginning of the conference.
And to
I'm asking you, it is because I like you. It is because you look great. And also because I want to make sure I remember who you were when the conference is over.
Okay. And to add on to that, what I'm going to do this year is at the end of each day or at lunch, actually twice, at lunch and then at dinner, whoever I take a picture of, upload it immediately. Just ship it. Ship it. Put it on LinkedIn. Put it on social media. Be like, hey, I met so-and-so today. Because by the end of the day, you're after dinner, you get back to your room, you're like,
too fried.
So just bam, as soon as you get it, boom, upload it. And that's a practice I'm going to try to do this year just to get it out. Because I recorded a lot of footage because I brought my DSLR camera. I was like, I'm going to vlog this whole thing. By the end of the week, I was toast. I was like, there's no way. So I got to do it in micro bits. Like I took a picture of 3 or 4 people. I recorded a quick conversation, uploaded it immediately, just to ship it.
And we met last year at Agile Advice. I remember you had your gear there. Okay. Mm-hmm. I would really like when we're there, maybe towards the end of the week, if we can do one of the interviews at the conference to hear how this worked for both of you. Because I do that too. I like plot out how I'm going to manage myself and what stuff I'm going to do to like capture things during the weekend. I usually get about half of it in, but I would love to hear how it's working out for both of you.
Oh yeah, I took a lot of lessons learned. I have new gear. I have a new vlogging camera that's very simple. I'm able to upload it very fast. So I have a whole plan this year.
Cool. All right. How can people get in touch with you if they want to reach out to you before the conference?
That's a great question. Easiest for me is to find me on LinkedIn. I'm there as Cheryl M. Hammond.
Okay.
And send me a message.
Cool.
Send a connect request, send a message. I'm happy to chat about the track and give suggestions if there's anything on our track or any other track that would be a good fit for what you want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And same for me. I am Omar McNeil, OMAR, MCNEIL. On LinkedIn, just hit me up, send a message, send a connect, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thank you both very much for doing this.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
At the Gala.
Yes, we'll see you there.
So excited.
Yes.
Cool.